Theodore Roosevelt explained it best when he said, "Every person who invests in well-selected real estate in a growing section of a prosperous community adopts the surest and safest method of becoming independent. For real estate is the basis of wealth." One way to gain wealth from real estate is through flipping. But what exactly is flipping? Flipping is the strategy of buying assets with a short holding period, then selling them for a quick profit. Although there are many areas where you can flip, such as appliances, tickets, cars, and cryptocurrencies, flipping is most strongly associated with real estate. This refers to real estate investors who purchase houses then quickly resell them within a short time frame, generally less than a year, to gain a bigger profit. There are two types of real estate flipping: fix and flip or reno flip. This refers to an investor who uses his knowledge to determine how to improve undervalued properties. With the right renovations and cosmetic changes, they can sell the houses for a significantly larger profit. The second type. This kind of flipping has no official name, but it refers to buying properties in a rapidly appreciating market, then reselling them after a certain time frame. Unlike the fix and flip, no additional investments are involved, which means that the property remains untouched. Instead, it relies on the market conditions rather than the physical property itself. Statistics. Here are some interesting stats about real estate flipping in America. In 2019, 58.3% of house flips were purchased with cash and 41.7% with financing. 5.9% of all house sales in 2020 were flipped homes. Pennsylvania had the most significant gross ROI in 2020, where the average investor received 92.6% ROI. On the other hand, investors in Idaho had the worst, having a mere 15.6% in ROI. 31 counties had a home flipping rate of at least 10%. Home flipping rates are down in 64% of local markets. The top 5 cities that had the greatest increase in ROI in 2020 are Hartford, Connecticut, Rochester, New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Austin, Texas, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. $68,188 was the average flipping profit in 2019. Benefits and risks. Like any strategy, there are pros and cons involved in real estate flipping. Here are some of the benefits and risks of flipping homes. Benefits. Bigger profit potential. Of course, the biggest benefit is earning a quicker ROI while turning it into a profitable business. As long as you know how to make the right decisions and optimize cost-effective options, you can flip homes for a living. Learn more about construction. As you start to flip homes, you'll gain insight into various areas of construction, such as repairing, renovating, and remodeling properties. You'll also start to understand the costs involved for materials, such as plumbing and electric repairs, and how to budget for unexpected costs like building permits, delivery fees, contractor disputes, and more. Heck, you'll even learn how to spot structural and environmental hazards within the property. Gaining knowledge of construction work helps you to make better deals on future projects. Quicker loan approval. In case you didn't know, getting approved for a flipping loan is way faster than the conventional banking system. Compared to a traditional finance institution where approvals could take up to a month to process, private lenders can grant you the loan within just 2 to 3 business days once you've submitted the required documents. Gain insight on all things real estate. Flipping a property helps you to have a broader view of how real estate works. You'll learn how to do proper market research before purchasing a property, gain insight into what buyers in the area are looking for, and know the ins and outs of financing and refinancing options available to you. Expands your network. Another advantage of entering the flipping business is that you'll increase your contacts in the industry. Such people include contractors, realtors, attorneys, insurance brokers and other investors, and building inspectors. Risks. Potential to lose money. The biggest disadvantage of real estate flipping is when a flip becomes a flop. There are several factors where you could lose a lot of money. Unanticipated expenses. This includes areas that you've not budgeted for, such as building permits, contractor delays, and additional renovations. You may also be forced to offer seller concessions to buyers, which can easily eat into your bottom line. Tax increases. Any renovations you made on the property can increase your property taxes. This can have a bad impact as an investor, especially if you're having difficulty finding a buyer and you have to pay the taxes yourself. It can also affect potential buyers who might rethink purchasing the property due to the higher tax bill. Capital gains tax. Any profit you make in flipping is subject to capital gains tax. The rate for this tax may vary according to how the property is classified and how long you've owned the property. Can induce stress. Another drawback of flipping is stress. Stress can come from the following: dealing with contractors, realtors, and local ordinances, finding the right property, properly anticipating the costs involved, finding a potential buyer, trying to meet your deadlines. Holding costs. The longer you own the property, the more money you're losing. After all, you'll continue to pay for the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs as long as you own it. Fluctuations on the market can also affect your anticipated profit, as you may need to reduce the price when needed. Now that you've learned a rundown of real estate flipping, let's proceed to Section 2, where we'll discuss the best practices and mistakes to avoid in this business. Here are some of the best practices and mistakes to avoid in real estate flipping. Best practices. Select an optimal location. One of the biggest factors of a successful flip relies not only on the actual property, but on where it's located. At first glance, you might find a property that looks like an excellent deal. But before locking in, analyze its location first. When it comes to real estate flipping, always remember, you can improve a property and increase its price, but you can't improve the value of its location. So no matter how great of a deal a certain property is, if certain aspects of the neighborhood drive away buyers, it'd be best to walk away. To find the optimal location, look for neighborhoods that appeal to your target market. Also, be on the lookout for new buildings that can affect the value of the location. For example, finding a property near a new hospital or school can make your offer more attractive for families. On the flip side, a soon-to-open factory can repel potential buyers. Another thing to consider is what type of homes are selling like hotcakes in that area. That'll help you determine which properties are worth investing in. Analyze market data. Like any other investment, due diligence is needed to make sure that you're putting money in the right place. Studying market data involves analyzing the latest trends, identifying buyer personas, calculating risk and reward ratios, computing potential costs, and more. Studying these areas helps you to make the right decisions and avoid expensive mistakes down the road. Build your dream team. If you think you can flip homes by yourself, you're dead wrong. Unlike appliances and equipment where you can flip it yourself, real estate involves a lot of personas. This includes home inspectors, realtors, contractors, lawyers, home staging experts, builders, and interior designers. Not screening the people you'll work with can only induce more stress in the process. This is why you have to make sure that you're gathering a team of professionals that you're happy and comfortable to work with and will be with you for the long haul. Sell it ASAP. Make it your first concern to flip the home in a few months after refurbishing it. As mentioned earlier, the longer it stays on your hands, the more money goes out of your pocket. Maintenance expenses can easily eat away all your profits. To sell properties quickly, work with your trusted realtors to find buyers fast. You can also consider hiring a home staging company to make your property as appealing as possible to potential buyers, helping them envision themselves living in that home. Mistakes to avoid. Spending too much on the property. If you want to generate a solid profit through flipping, you have to make sure that you're getting your money's worth. To do that, you need to apply the 70% rule. The 70% rule is a concept that states that you should never spend more than 70% of your estimated after repair value when buying a property. To apply the 70% rule, use this formula. Here's a real-life example. Let's say a house you're targeting has a potential after repair value of $270,000. According to your contractor, it'll cost about $20,000 in repairs to reach that ARV. Applying the 70% rule, then the fair price should be $270,000 minus $20,000, giving us $250,000 times 0.7, equaling $175,000. This means that if you can't negotiate the price below the $175,000 mark, better start looking for a new property. By using the 70% rule, you'll be able to have a cushion for making repairs while still making a profit. It's vital to apply this concept at all times, especially when you're just starting out. Miscalculating repair costs. Calculating your repair costs is just as important as buying the right place. In fact, they are synonymous with one another. To make sure you're spot on with your estimations, you may want to work with your agent first to identify which projects to focus on. Or in other words, determine what areas should be improved to be in line with neighborhood comparables and potential buyer preferences. If you're seriously considering buying a property, make sure to bring along your most trusted contractor to give you a quote of the repairs you have in mind. It would also be wise to get a second or third quote from other contractors to ensure that you're calculating the costs accurately. Not purchasing property insurance. Remember, flipping is all about getting a bigger return on your initial investment. With this in mind, you'll want to do everything in your power to protect what you've put your time, money, and effort into. This may mean purchasing property insurance for your project. Property insurance ensures that you'll get reimbursed in case of damages that can occur on your property, such as theft, vandalism, fire, earthquakes, and more. You can purchase property insurance locally or online, so make sure to shop around to find the best plans. Over-improving the home. Not all renovations appreciate the value of your property. In reality, some can even hurt you in the end. So before you make any changes to your property, make sure that it fits with other comparables in the area. Adding a boiserie wall decor, an industrial kitchen island, and other high-end features will probably be meaningless if the neighborhood doesn't have them too. In fact, you'll only make it harder to sell your property. So before you flip any real estate, make sure to study the community first. Try to attend open houses or check out other homes in Zillow and Redfin. You can also talk to your agent about the common preferences that buyers look for in your area. Make sure to use these tips so you can maximize returns and avoid rookie mistakes. Now let's dive into Section 3, where we'll discuss the most important necessity of every investor: money. This is pretty straightforward. Without funds, you won't be able to flip anything besides a plastic bottle. In this next section, we'll talk about the common expenses involving real estate flipping, as well as the funding options you can choose from. Expenses. Carrying costs or holding costs are the fees for owning a property. As long as you own a property, you'll need to pay these expenses. Here are the types of carrying costs you should be aware of. Property taxes. These fees vary from location to location, so make sure to research online or go to the county assessor's office to know how much you're required to pay. Mortgage payments. With these fees, you need to calculate monthly payments as a holding cost. Insurance. This includes private mortgage insurance, title insurance, flood insurance, legal insurance, and homeowner's insurance. HOA fees. This is required if your property is in an area administered by a homeowners association or an HOA. Utilities. This includes water, electricity, gas, HVAC, and others. Maintenance. This includes lawn care, gutter cleaning, window washing, and others. Funding. Here are some of the funding options you can choose from to engage in real estate flipping. Private lenders. Private lenders are simply individuals with substantial capital that they can loan to you. They're not organized money lenders, nor are they officially licensed to loan money. Unlike other lenders who have a lender criteria, private lenders offer the most flexibility. As individuals, they're more open to negotiating payment terms and may even be willing to not charge interest in exchange for a small share of the profits. You can find private lenders through networking events. Hard money loan. Like private lenders, hard money loans are funds lent by non-traditional lenders. Hard money loans are also known as short-term bridge loans because it uses properties as collateral. Unlike private lenders, where negotiating is highly flexible, hard money loans usually have some lender criteria, such as interest rates, time of the loan, and points. Hard money loans are great for investors who need to get funding quickly without the hassle of traditional financing. Wholesaling. Real estate wholesaling is a strategy where an individual, called the wholesaler, contracts a home with a seller, where they agree to sell the property at a certain price. Using their network, the wholesaler finds a buyer for that property, selling it at a higher price than the contract. The difference in price from the original contract is the profit earned by the wholesaler. Wholesaling is best suited for people who want to get into real estate flipping but don't have the finances to do so. Home equity loan. Also known as a second mortgage, a home equity loan is a type of consumer debt. It's a fixed-term loan granted by a lender to an investor based on the equity in their home. Basically, a borrower can apply for a set amount, then if approved, will receive the amount in a lump sum up front. Home equity loans have a fixed interest rate and a fixed schedule of payments. A home equity loan is a great way to convert the equity you've built up over time into cash. You can use these funds for renovations to appreciate the value of your property. Seller financing. Seller financing is an agreement between the buyer and seller where the seller finances the purchase for the buyer. Since they both make the arrangement themselves, seller financing can be quicker and cheaper because there are fewer factors involved. Using a promissory note, they can set out the schedule of payments, interest rates, as well as possible penalties should the buyer fail to meet these obligations. Seller financing is a great alternative for places where mortgages are hard to get. Thanks for sitting in through this training. We hope these lessons discussed will give you the needed confidence to dive into the world of real estate. When executed properly, flipping can help you earn larger profits quicker, while at the same time giving you the needed knowledge to become well-versed in real estate. So what are you waiting for? Take a deep breath and start flipping.